A little to the left, a little to the right. Yeah, sing louder. Okay, got it, got it, got it. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am safetytess, better known as Tess, and we're gonna talk about how to take quick, fast, easy, and fun concert photos with your cellular device. Let's get right into it. I've divided this into 3 categories. It's going to be barricade photo, cheap seat photos, and just general tips. If you guys didn't already know, I'm a huge concert junkie, and if you can see by my Instagram, there's lots of photos of concerts. I think I've perfected the art of what I want in a concert photo, and I'm here to share it with you today. First things first, barricade photos. This category of barricade photos is going to be from either you on the barricade or at least 10 people back. We're still going to consider that a barricade. Now, I am not for sure if this is all around the world, but in the United States, the first 3 songs, the photographers are allowed in the pit and they will be taking photos of the artists. This can range from a small to a large show, or some shows don't even have it. But sometimes there are assigned photographers from the venue or the artist that will be in the pit. This is the time you don't want to take photos. Just don't do it. Because 1, you can listen to the first 3 songs without having to worry about photos, and 2, you might get a lens in your shot and you don't want to deal with that later when you're trying to get up a really good Instagram, okay? This tip can be disregarded if the artist climbs through the photographers, because you can take out your phone, you know, and get that picture of Josh Dunn going on top of the audience with his boards to play the drums. But this doesn't usually happen in the first 3 songs. Just a heads up. You are going to either have something from the barricade to you, unless it's a very small show, in this photo. Usually you can just use common sense and take a photo that you like. But my few tips are, I always shoot up, whether I'm at the very front of the barricade or, like I said, 10 people back. This is so that you fill your empty space with like lights or the top of the stage or even the sky, and it kind of adds dimension to your photo. And I really like how these usually look, because unless I'm looking to get hands or the audience in my photo, I will always be shooting from the bottom of the stage up. If you do take photos straight on, you usually get like the line of horizon with people's heads, the line of horizon, the band, and then like a little bit of the top of the stage, and it seems a little cluttered. Use creativity. Use your creative mind and think, you know, I want to take a good picture and I want to enjoy this show, so use your lower thirds and your upper thirds. That's whenever you look at a photo and it divides into a grid. Your lower thirds are these, your upper thirds are these, and you can use your focus point not just in the middle of the shot. So if, say, the bassist and the lead singer are singing, you can put like the bassist on the side here and then keep the lead singer in the lower third, so that your eyes are kind of like, whoa. Double tap! The next segment is cheap seat photos. Well, this necessarily isn't the cheap seat, but I kind of just like saying cheap seat. And Regina Spektor named her album What We Saw in the Cheap Seats, and I feel like that was a title I thought of and I wanted to use it, and then Regina got it. But you know what we saw from the cheap seats. Not everybody can get to the barricade on time. Work gets in the way. You also don't want to pay a gajillion dollars to see Paul McCartney from the front row, which was me, because I want to see Paul McCartney, but I didn't have a gajillion dollars. Cheap seat photos have a lot of options. You can get the crowd. If you're in a stadium, you can get the crowd with the stage and it looks wonderful. One of the funniest things I do in cheap seats sometimes, and usually this is easier if you have a friend, but there are little binoculars you can buy at the store that run from $6 to $10, and I usually take these to big artist shows, like when I go see rock shows of reunion tours like Motley Crue and, you know, the Rolling Stones and Paul McCartney and stuff like that. I'll take these binoculars because you can share them with people around you, but you can also like check in on, see what's happening on the stage a little better than you did with your normal eyes. If you buy these cheap binoculars, this is easier with a friend, but you can do this. I have done it alone. It's difficult, but if you sync up the binocular with one of the binoculars with your phone camera and get it on stage and have someone take the photo, you can get some really cool, let's just say, arty shots. I have a really cool one of Mick Jagger. I also have a really cool one of Paul McCartney, which I did alone. I took the photo with my nose. I like did this. I don't recommend it to anyone, okay? Whenever you zoom with an iPhone or a mobile device, it usually grains up your photo, so I try to avoid zooming only halfway if I ever use Zoom, because of the fact that, like, We're not trying to prove that we bought like a really expensive seat, but we're trying to prove that like our eyes saw it closer than our phone did, because that's a true thing. Your phone has a wide angle set on it already, so it looks like you're farther away than you already are, and you're like, hello? I was closer than that. Like I said before, use the audience to add to your photo. It doesn't make you less cool if you're farther away. You were there in the first place. Being in the cheap seats, and as well as the Barricade, it's a little bit harder on the Barricade, but being in the cheap seats, it's a lot easier to take a panoramic photo. And panoramic photos are pretty dang cool if you can get them down correctly. I usually just turn on the panoramic setting on my phone and I do it very quickly. It always tells me to slow down, but I don't listen to them because I want to make sure I get the straight line. The last segment is general tips. This is a tip that I think saved my life when I finally figured out what was happening. Blue and red lights distort iOS photos or Android photos or whatever. Blue and red. So that means purple sometimes can distort your photo a little bit. Anything that usually is a direct color light will distort your photo a little bit, but orange usually looks kind of cool, and yellow doesn't really bother it too much, and green kind of looks cool. This is all up to discretion though, because if the lights are lighter, like if it's a light blue wash on the stage with like whites, it's gonna be fine. Usually when there's a combination light, maybe like a spotlight and a backlight, it's not too bad, but like direct spotlights and blues and reds will distort your photos. Will distort your photos. Know what you want and be quick about it. If you already know how this set goes and you know there's gonna be a guitar solo in the fourth song, take that picture of that guitar solo and then relax until something cool happens and then you take a photo. Because even if you get like 5 photos of the evening, you're still gonna remember it better than if you didn't take any at all, or if you took 5,000. This also goes for taking photos in high intensity moments, like if a member of the band goes into the audience, if someone climbs, if they're getting the audience involved and someone's clapping, if someone goes on stage. There's lots of things that can happen that are high intensity moments, and they're easy to get one and done photos. There are a lot of people that take videos or Snapchat during this situation, which, like I said before, you can decide what you want to do. But if you take a photo in a high intensity moment, it's like one and done, and you have a high intensity photo and it looks great on your Instagram. There are a couple moments when I took photos in my concert career that have been insane. I also was around when you weren't allowed to have phones in shows, so like whenever I saw Green Day a long time ago, I got in trouble for texting at Green Day. Guys, I got in trouble for texting at Green Day. So recently I saw Peter Frampton and he wanted everyone to enjoy the show without their phones. So he let us take pictures for the first 3 songs, just like photographers do. And it was kind of like, because I didn't have to worry about my phone like for the rest of the show, and I ended up crying like a little baby at that show. This is kind of like a tip for myself, but I always try to use my phone less than a minute each time. The more you use the phone, the more distracting it is to you and the people behind you, so I always try to use either my vlogging camera or my phone less than a minute. If I recorded over a minute, it means I really love that song, okay? The apps I like to use are VSCO Cam or VistaCam. If I have some photos that have gotten distorted or they're out of focus and I still like the feel of them, I love to use the Glitch app and use the filter that makes 3 layers on your photo of color, kind of like a old 3D movie. And then obviously I use Instagram to post my photos, and I also love to post sets of photos on Twitter later that didn't make the cut for Instagram. Whenever I am not using my phone, I use my vlogging camera, which is a Canon G7X. This camera can correspond with your phone with Bluetooth or Wi-Fi, and that's why sometimes I can get really incredible photos. It's because of this little brick of a baby. It's amazing. It's expensive, but it's amazing. I love to use the distracting surroundings of the concert to enhance my photos. So if you guys want to talk more about photos or how I take photos with my vlogging camera, like this one I took of Boy George recently. This was taken through someone filming with their hands, so it's literally their hands like this, and I focused on Boy George through their hands. It's a miracle. It's a miracle, it's a miracle, it's a miracle. I hope these tips helped you guys. If you have any questions or you want to do more videos on concert photos or concert filming, just let me know. But until then, have a great day, a great night, and a great life. I'll see you very soon. Bye!
Doing it right, everybody will be dancing and we're feeling it right. Everybody will be dancing and be feeling it right. Everybody will be dancing and we're feeling alright. Everybody will be dancing tonight, doing it right. Everybody will be dancing and we're feeling it right.
Jeez Louise. Disclaimer, I am not a photographer. I have had interest in photography and taken classes on photography and videography, but I am not a photographer, okay? These are just things I've learned over the years of having a creative aspect of life, okay?